And it is a good morning, a good Friday morning, TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday. Finally, here we go. This is the day that we have been waiting for, and we are going to talk about a really, really big story. I'm going to wait for everyone to populate. I'm going to wait for everyone to jump into the chat. Good morning to everybody. It's the last weekday before our Montauk run. We have the Patio Pizza Victory Party tonight. And a couple of things to announce before we get into the big story. That I think it's a big story. I think it's an alarming story regarding education here on Long Island. I think it's alarming what has been found, and we are going to talk about it, and we're going to do it right here. Welcome to We Will Not Comply, broadcasting live from the America First Media Campus. Good morning to everybody out here. As you can see, we got a beautiful backdrop behind us. Shout out to the America First Warehouse. And obviously, you know, we are the loud majority, but we are broadcasting live from the America First Media Campus. This is going to be probably the most significant story that I have spoken about ever, I think. And when we go into it and when we think about the implications, it's probably going to be a story that ruffles a few feathers, and we're going to talk about a lot of it. So it's pretty alarming, I think. I think the names that we're going to talk about are alarming. I think the concepts that we're going to talk about are alarming, and I'm going to give you a 30,000-foot view, a bird's eye view of the information that myself and a team of other people have uncovered and started to kind of filter out with regards to schools and the education system, and there's just so much. So before we get to all that, I do want to wish everybody once again a very good morning, and I want to thank everyone really quick because something is happening. I obviously recorded that video yesterday in the supermarket of Bare Shelves Biden, and it absolutely took off. So I do want to thank everybody who shared that. But this is an even bigger situation. Now, it's all fun and games yesterday in the supermarket. Bare Shelves Biden, you know. Empty shelves, Joe. We're talking about it. It's happening. We're looking at it. It's a crazy thing what's going on in our country. But we have something way more important and way more significant to talk about, actually, when you believe it or not, than empty shelves. So, but I hate the empty shelves, and I'm very upset with the empty shelves, and I'm going to just go over a few things real quick with you regarding this weekend. All right, tomorrow. Okay, so first off, tonight, 6:30 p.m., Patio Pizza. We're having the Smithtown Library Trustee Victory Party. So we will be down at Patio Pizza today. Come support. It's called a boycott. We're doing a boycott to quote the great Dan Bongino. We're doing a boycott today. Guy Caligiuri's Patio Pizza, a local institution in Smithtown. It was trashed. He was harassed, had the liquor license removed, all because of one resident, right, who decided to make a stink. And then that one resident thought, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to run in the same town I made a stink in, you know, and the president tweeted about, you know, the real president tweeted about Patio Pizza and everything like that. So she lost her race, and we were very happy that we won that. So come to Patio Pizza tonight, 6:30 p.m. It's in St. James. Patio Pizza, St. James. Come support Guy Caligiuri. Come support Patio Pizza, local institution, small business here in Long Island in Smithtown. 6:30 p.m. Victory Party. Apparently, all three of the winning candidates that we had endorsed and that won the race are going to be at Patio Pizza tonight. If you want to come say hey, shake their hands, say congratulations, and check it out, we will be down there. Patio Pizza today, 6:30 p.m. Tomorrow, Vicky Palladino, District 19 tomorrow. 2015 Francis Lewis Boulevard, District 19, Vicky Palladino, 11 o'clock. Come out to the city. I will be there. So for anybody who wants to come say hey and come do some work for Vicky Palladino, we'll be there from 11 o'clock onwards in District 19, Whitestone, New York, 2015 Francis Lewis Boulevard. Come campaign for Vicky Palladino. Food will be provided, so come down tomorrow, 11 o'clock, 2015 Francis Lewis Boulevard. That is tomorrow, Saturday. Also tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Syosset train station. The New York City Young Republicans are hosting a crash rally. Come meet Ann Donnelly, hopefully the next district attorney of Nassau County. Ann Donnelly, 11 to 5 p.m., 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., Syosset train station tomorrow. And also Saturday, come to Nick Caracappa's office, a great man, Nick Caracappa, 325 Middle Country Road in Selden at 2 p.m. tomorrow. So that's 3 things going on. So we got Vicky at 11 o'clock. We got Ann Donnelly at 11 o'clock at the Syosset train station. And we have come to Nick Caracappa. They're having a roadside rally, 325 Middle Country Road in Selden at 2 p.m. Also tomorrow, George Pritchard's 7-Eleven corner. He will be out there on the corner of William Floyd Parkway, the 7-Eleven over in Shirley. So go ahead and check it out tomorrow too. George Pritchard, the Patriot Corner over by 7-Eleven. October 23rd, 8:30 a.m., the Smithtown Republican headquarters. Head over there. The office is on the corner of Landing Avenue and Main Street at the train station side of Main Street. And then obviously, I don't know exactly what's happening on the 23rd. I'm not sure if it's a campaign, if it's a lit drop, but come on down on October 23rd. And then obviously Sunday, October 24th at the America First Warehouse is a fundraiser for the next governor of New York, Lee Zeldin. So that is October 24th, Sunday. There is a fundraiser going on at the America First Warehouse being put on by our Freedom Pack friends of ours. And Dave Zier is cooking. You're not going to want to miss that. So now that we got all that out of the way and we know when everything is going to be, before we go right into this big story, first thing I want to tell you is I'm incredibly grateful for your support, and we all are, and we're really, really looking forward to getting you this information right now. If you can do us all a favor, because we're going to need it, especially after today. Please go to We Will Not Comply. Find it on your podcast apps. Download the podcast. Share it with everybody. We Will Not Comply. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Spotify. It's on Google Podcasts. It's everywhere. Please check it out and share it. We need distribution by proxy. That's number one. Number two, we need the Montauk event, which apparently has reached 14.3 thousand accounts on Facebook, despite a shadow ban. Guys, go ahead and share it one more time, 2 more times. Get in there, share that event. Let everybody you know who you think would be interested. We're also going to be having Kelly from Patchogue, the same Kelly from last year. She's going to be holding the Party City meetup over in Patchogue. So exit 52, Sunrise Highway, Party City. That's going to be a meeting spot for any East Enders who don't want to drive all the way out to Seaford to come all the way back to Montauk. I get it. It's a long drive. So you can meet us over at the Party City in Patchogue. We're going to be driving through. You guys will jump onto the caravan and ride all the way out to Montauk. The route is Route 27 all the way out. Please share that event. Distribution by proxy. It does work, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm very happy to see that you guys have done that. We've reached 14.3 thousand accounts as of yesterday. What a great job you guys have done by sharing it. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is, because of the implications that today's story may have, I want you to just understand that now more than ever, we're going to need everybody's support if you want to stop what I think we found here on Long Island. Okay. We're going to need everybody's support to share it. We're going to need everybody's support to help us dig and keep feeding us information. When I tell you that information has come through a fire hose regarding this issue, we are just absolutely inundated with information. Check this out. These are all foils from one school district right here. Okay. We've got more over here. Another stack. And there's more. This is not even we're not even scratching the surface, okay? There is a lot of information here. We're combing through it. I haven't slept in 2 days. This is a very big deal, okay? And so what we are uncovering here has potential major, possibly national implications, okay? So just so that we're aware, please support if you think this is worth it, and I hope you do after this. I want to let you know that you're not wasting your time here. September 17th, 2021, I came on this stream and I had told you that OSHA hadn't drafted the paperwork to enforce the mandate yet. OSHA hadn't drafted the standard, the policy to enforce Biden's 100 employee mandate. And now that's all you're hearing from Southwest. Folks, we're a month ahead of the news cycle here. I want you to understand something. We are a month ahead of the news cycle here. You're not wasting your time, and I want you to know that the information that I pass on to you is information that I have independently verified. This is information that I look at and make sure that it's true before we come out and just start spewing stuff. Okay? So you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time. Oh, I'm sorry. George Pritchard here. I'm going to pop him on the screen. Sunday is the 7-Eleven corner, not Saturday. So he's going to be gathering at the 7-Eleven corner and running the Montauk Sunday. Okay? So it's not tomorrow. All right, here we go. Let's talk about it. Let's go to the first article that I'm going to pop onto the screen now that I know how to do this. It is important. We are going to talk about, and the implications that we're going to be talking about today have national implications. There are people in power that we are going to, or I am going to today, ruffle feathers. There is a good chance that I am putting a target on my back by doing this, but this has to get out, because if this doesn't get out, the kids may suffer. So let's get to it. Article number 1, let's refresh what we're going to talk about today. All right. This is the New York Post, and we are over in the New York Post here. As you see, A.G. Garland's son-in-law education company supports critical race theory. We knew that. The name of that company is Panorama Education. Let's read this real quick. The education company co-founded by Attorney General Merrick Garland's son-in-law is facing fresh scrutiny after it was revealed the company supports critical race theory curricula while servicing 23,000 schools in the nation, costing taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars, while Garland cracks down on opposition to the ideology. Garland has been under fire this past week for his October 4th memo in which he asked the FBI, tasked the FBI with investigating an alleged recent spike in violence against school staff amid backlash to critical race theory being injected into school curricula through Garland's memo, although Garland's memo did not specify what those acts were. This is an intimidation tactic to get you to shut up. Now is the time to be as loud as possible, not violent, not unruly, nothing that breaches the law. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It is extremely important that right now, because of the information that you're going to learn about today, that we remain composed when we talk to our boards about this. Do not give this scumbag of an attorney general any free ammunition to send the feds into your school district or to weaponize law enforcement against you for using your First Amendment rights. Amid criticism from parents and politicians over the intentions behind the order, some are questioning whether Garland has a conflict of interest due to his son-in-law's company, Panorama Education, co-founded by Zan Tanner, sells surveys to school districts nationwide with a focus on, are you ready for this? This is what we're telling you for the last couple of weeks. These school districts, these boards of education, these superintendents, they take words, they throw them together. They package words, they throw them together. SELDEICRS. How about FU? Because we caught you. How about FU? How about GFY? Because we caught you. It's over, guys. The game is over. New York City Department of Education, completely in bed with this company, Panorama. Don't believe me? It's on Panorama's website. But it goes far beyond New York City's Department of Education. What Panorama does is it doesn't just sell surveys to districts and let kids fill out and ask questions about what A, B, C, D, E, F, G gender they identify as today. They also sell trainings and supply trainings for teachers. Keep that in the back of your head. Panorama Education, co-founded by Zan Tanner, sells surveys to school districts nationwide with a focus on social and emotion climate, according to a report by Forbes. It came from Forbes, guys, not the National Enquirer. Okay? With contracts in more than 50 of the 100 largest school districts in the United States, Panorama Education claims to be supporting 13 million students in 23,000 schools and 1,500 districts across 50 states. According to Open the Books, a government expenditure library, the company has been hired by school districts in California, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Mexico, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming for surveys or training. You can add New York to that list, and I will show you the proof in a moment. One survey distributed by Arlington Public Schools in Virginia revealed students have been asked questions such as, how clearly do you see your culture and history reflected in your school? And how often do you feel that you are treated poorly by other students because of your race, ethnicity, gender, family's income, religion, disability, or sexual orientation? Panorama's education contract. Panorama Education's contract with Arlington Public Schools was settled in 2017 and was for 3 school-wide surveys over a 5-year period. According to Forbes, the contract cost taxpayers $288,270. Since 2017, the company has raised around $76 million from investors, and just last month, Panorama Education struck a $60 million private financing raise with General Atlantic. All right, so let's talk about what this actually means. What does Panorama actually mean? What is it actually doing? And how do we go ahead and talk about it? Okay, because this is not the mind-blowing stuff yet. Okay, Panorama Education is a company that is founded and run by the son-in-law of the Attorney General of the United States, the same Attorney General who is now asking the FBI to work with local law enforcement to go ahead here and I'm going to flush it this way so you can see the entire article, but to go ahead here and almost intimidate parents. They're labeling parents as domestic terrorists. No, just the violent ones. Yeah. This is a huge issue. This is a conflict of interest of one of the most powerful law enforcement officials in the United States. And he's weaponizing the most powerful investigative body in the United States to come after you. Because his daughter is married to the president of this company that stands to lose a lot of money if you rise up and challenge them. This is you versus government. This is not about your school boards, although they're probably corrupt at this point. This is not about your superintendents, although they're possibly corrupt at this point. This is you and the government. The man running the DOJ, his daughter and his son-in-law, his daughter who's married to his son-in-law, runs this company. They stand to lose a lot of money if you challenge them. They don't want that. So they are going to suppress your challenge. This is very important. This is very important to understand. So Attorney General Merrick Garland has mobilized the FBI, has directed the FBI. Keep an eye on these parents, folks. Keep an eye on these parents. They are behaving like domestic terrorists. Violence is not acceptable, and I agree with that. You must act within the boundaries of the law in these school board meetings. But if you have questions about what your child is learning, and if you have questions about where your taxpayer dollars are going with regards to these schools, you go to those board meetings and you ask those questions and you make those statements, and you do not let this coward of an attorney general, this disgusting attorney general, who thank God is not on the Supreme Court, you do not let these thuggish tactics keep you from expressing your First Amendment rights. Do you hear me? We still live in the United States of America. You are still allowed to do these things. Screw the Attorney General. What he says doesn't matter. You matter. What you want for your kids matters. And if you don't like what you're hearing from your school boards, then pull them the hell out of these schools, because this is disgusting where we're going to go here now. Let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. because that's everybody's new 3-word euphemism for critical race theory. We know that Lester Young has done this before. We've seen it. We put it up. New York State Board of Regents, the senseless and brutal killing of black and brown people at the hands of law enforcement. That's the DEI framework. Well, then you ask your school boards. You ask them, are you teaching this stuff? No, we would never teach this stuff. No, of course not. Oh, really? Well, how many of you guys have heard of BOCES? Eastern Suffolk, Western Suffolk, Nassau BOCES. How many people here in the chat have heard of BOCES? And what BOCES does, and they have a great tech program, and they do a lot of good things for the students, but they also host trainings for teachers. So it would be kind of good to know where they lie on all of these things. So I'm now going to open another tab that's going to show you where BOCES stands on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Take a look at this. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is right off of the BOCES website, folks. Right off of the BOCES website. BOCES leaders in support of Board of Regents DEI work continue update of criminal justice programs. Let's read, ladies and gentlemen. This is all public. They are bragging about this. They are proud of this. And if this does not feel like a giant slap in the face to you, the parent, you, the taxpayer, you, the American patriot, if this does not feel like a slap in the face to you, I don't know what to tell you. Let's read. At its April meeting, that's the April 12th, Lester Young statement. New York State Board of Regents released a draft framework on diversity, equity, and inclusion in our schools. The 37 district superintendents representing BOCES across New York applaud this effort and look forward to collaborating with the regents, the commissioner, and the school leaders across the state in implementing this framework in our schools. Framework brings together multiple national tragedies which highlight the need for this call to action. BOCES of New York State recognizes that the senseless killings of black and brown people by law enforcement, violence toward Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, hateful and racist comments or discrimination of any kind have no place in our school communities. I agree. Hateful comments, exclusion, prejudice, racism does not belong in the schools. So why are you bringing it in? Further, there is a real danger in not having multiple perspectives and points of view represented and taught in our classrooms. I agree again. But we know how the left feels about diversity of thought. They don't want multiple perspectives. They want one perspective. This perspective. Since last summer, the BOCES district superintendents have been working to collectively and individually review and update police science and criminal justice curriculums and textbooks used in these popular BOCES programs. The purpose of this review is to ensure that systemic racism and implicit bias is addressed in this coursework. Where possible, BOCES educators are working with local, regional, and state police officials to assure alignment. Get in line, folks. To the New York State Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative, which aims to reform police work across the state. It's right here. It's in BOCES. You see it. It's on their website. Folks, they're pushing this crap everywhere. But that's not the big one. We knew that they were falling in line with DEI. Now, how many times have you heard your district talk about DEI and SEL and all these other acronyms that they have? And they go, nope, nope, nope. DEI is DEI. SEL is SEL. SEL is social emotional learning. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And CRS is culturally responsive and sustaining education. You guys have heard them play the word games before. It's what the left loves to do. Nicole G says, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything yet, except the fact we just exposed BOCES for pushing anti-cop rhetoric, critical race theory. They've word for word copied what Lester Young said out of that April 12th statement and put it right up on their website. You know where they stand. Make a smart decision, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a teacher that has been trained over on the BOCES campus, or your trainings have run through BOCES, and you have training materials, I want it. You will remain anonymous, but I want it. This is the big, big deal because of where that training came from. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to put on the screen next is going to show you exactly why Merrick Garland has weaponized the FBI, exactly why Merrick Garland and the FBI and the left continues to refer to me and the rest of you as domestic terrorists, because we are a terror to their agenda. We are the ones who will tear down their sick, predatory, twisted agenda in order to that which indoctrinates children. Panorama, which is Merrick Garland's son-in-law's company. BOCES, which does a lot here with the schools in Long Island. And now we get to see how those two are married. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Eastern Suffolk BOCES website, it's right here. Let me see where hold on. I have there we go. Scroll to the top. Eastern Suffolk BOCES website, and here it comes. Eyes on the screen, folks. Eastern Suffolk BOCES uses Panorama Education. It's right here in your backyard on Long Island. This is not a screenshot. This is a live web page. Panorama brings together social emotional learning, SEL. And by the way, Panorama has been rated the #1 service with regards to SEL by none other than the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You know, they seem to get really involved all the time, and it's never good. Panorama brings together social emotional learning, multi-tiered system of support, response to intervention, school climate, and student voice, all in one platform. Panorama pulls together all of your student district data into one spot and gives you visual dashboard reports. Here we have it. Panorama is all over BOCES, and it does not just affect the kids. They train the teachers in this crap too. So the company that the Attorney General of the United States, his son-in-law, runs, has been sitting here in your backyard. Let's go to Panorama's homepage. Actionable data. Look at this right here. New York City Department of Education. Do you see it? Oh, did it go away? Hold on. Let me turn it off and turn it back on again. Oh, no, it didn't go to the right thing. Let's see. We're going to do stop share. Oh, where did it? Oh, you know what? It popped over to the other page. Let me bring it back up here. I'll go back to Panorama's homepage, and we will. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I'm just brand new. I've just figured out that I was able to redo this. So let's do it right here. Here we go. You see it now? Let me bring the screen up. You see it now? Boom. New York City Department of Education. Right here. Hello, New York City Department of Education. This is Panorama. All right. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, what does this all mean? What do we have to do next? But Panorama is here. This is not something that's happening in California. We get to say, okay, no worries, not in my backyard. It's happening in your backyard. Eastern Suffolk BOCES is training your teachers and implementing New York State DEI to the students, but they're training your teachers, people like Elaine Gross, Tracy Edwards. Yeah, talking to you two. I always talk about you guys. You know, Elaine, could you get out of the school? If you want to be a fair housing activist, Elaine, go be a fair housing activist. But stay the F out of the schools and stop making the kids do your dirty work, you predator. And you, Tracy Edwards, training administrative staffs on DEI. I will find out what that training was. And I will find out and make sure that you're not training these teachers to teach garbage that's poisoning the minds of these children here. You think I'm joking? We started doing these Smithtown foils and started reading into these documents in April. It is October. We are 6 months removed from the first foil that I laid eyes on. And I'm only getting started, Tracy. I'm only getting started, Elaine. I'm only getting started, Attorney General Merrick Garland. You think you're going to put this crap in our backyard and we're just going to take it lying down? Panorama Education, the company that is selling surveys and data to school districts, 23,000 organizations across the United States. 13 million students, rated number 1 in social emotional learning by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Panorama Education is here on Long Island. They're training the kids, but more importantly, they are training the teachers how to do this crap. And the administrators. And if you're an administrator or you're a teacher and you've had any of these trainings, you will remain anonymous. I want the information. This is the biggest issue right now. I know I'm going to become a target. That's okay. I want the information. So if you're there, in the words of Project Veritas, be brave and do something. Next, Panorama Education. Let's talk about what's next on the agenda while we do this. As we say hi to racist Robbie Ray in the chat. Sit down, racist Robbie. I'm blowing the lid off the entire scheme here. All right, here we go. We want to see, where did it go? Oh, jeez. Okay. I need to find the SEL District Leaders Guide. There it is, SEL Equity. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So for anybody who wants to tell you that DEI and SEL are completely different, for any districts that want to cover their tracks, this is straight from Panorama. This is straight from Panorama. This is one of their guides that they made publicly available online. District Leaders Guide to SEL and Equity. I thought they were different. As we scroll down this, you'll see all of the wonderful speakers here. And we'll see what we have. Look, social emotional learning and equity are interwoven. I thought they were completely different. I thought SEL wasn't DEI. SEL advances in educational equity and excellence. Excellence is good. Equity can't be guaranteed. Here you go. A featured leader, Dr. Lorenzo Moore. SEL and equity, the same coin. And you can see it down right here. If you're talking about social emotional learning and not equity, you are not talking about SEL yet. SEL and equity are not two sides of the same coin. They're both on the same side of the same coin. Ladies and gentlemen, if your district is doing SEL, that means they're probably tied to some of the trainings here with Panorama, which means they are brainwashing your kids with critical race theory and divisive racist education. And they're going to come out of school like racist Robbie Ray here if he ever finished school, because he doesn't seem very educated here in the chat. Racist Robbie Ray and Crazy Lisa, they're not very educated people because they think they're fighting racism by promoting it. It's okay. Welcome to class, guys. Open up your notebooks and take notes, kids. SEL and DEI are one and the same. It says it right here. Oh, that ain't the end. That ain't it. That's just the beginning, guys. Let's scroll down again. Fixing systems, not students. As the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, fight for things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. SEL and equity during COVID-19. It's all, I would read this entire thing to you. Here we go. We have a bold theory of action that focuses on our Black and Native students. What happened to the other students? They don't matter. They don't matter. So I didn't realize that saying Black Lives Matter meant only Black Lives Matter and everyone else can go after themselves. I didn't realize that's what the movement was about. But if that's what it is, then, hey, we got to reevaluate a couple things, don't we? We keep scrolling here. We keep scrolling here, and I will show you some really, really interesting stuff. Here we go. It is important to understand SEL and equity work is not just about students, but about staff. Staff. You must have SEL and equity centered into your organization's mission, vision, and strategic plan. In addition, leaders have to start with the heart when influencing others' work with SEL and equity. Share stories of growth and customize a clear message of improvement that centers around examples of building students and staff hearts. Sounds good. I don't really disagree with that. But here we go. This work is difficult and requires a mindset change for some educators. The equity work has to start with the students, start with the adults, before we can begin cultivating those competencies with students. We can't teach and model what we don't know. Also, make it a priority from the top down. This includes having an equity statement collaboratively drafted and adopted by your board. Then any decision that is made needs to pass through that lens. We have a district equity statement that focuses our success. Here it is. We have a district equity statement that focuses our success on our typically marginalized students, including Black, Latinx, emergent bilinguals, and students with disabilities. That means they're not focusing on anybody else. You want to help those kids? You want to help people who are marginalized? That is fine. I am for that. But if you're going to go further than that and ignore a group of people to push an agenda like SEL, like DEI, like critical race theory, now we have a problem. Every staff member has gone through beyond diversity. It's a training. And most have also gone through SEED, seeking educational equity and diversity. And if you think this is bad, wait until we get to SEED. Last year, we did a district-wide book study of white fragility, including district administrative and school staff. We use the Courageous Conversations Agreement and Conditions as a part of our norms for all meetings, including our board meetings, staff meetings, and department meetings. This came from somebody by the name of Donna Cross, director of the multi-tiered support system and social emotional learning in Evanston/Stokey School District 65 in Illinois. This person is listed as a featured leader or as one of the leaders of lesson number 1 in Panorama's guide Panorama's guide, it says right up here, to SEL and equity. 32 district leaders share advice on advancing equity and social emotional learning. So this stuff is getting in to your schools. This stuff is getting into your children's education. That is not the end. We're only scratching the surface. Let's go over to what we saw over there called SEED. Do I have you guys yet? How we doing in the chat? How we doing in the chat? How we doing, guys? Everybody doing okay? Racist Robbie wants to know if I think nationalities are being left out. They are. It just said that they're only focusing on a select few people. But Racist Robbie's a racist, and so it's okay. Don't worry, Racist Robbie, I got more. Don't worry, Racist Robbie, I got more. Oh, maybe Crazy Lisa might be in here, too, getting ready to slander my name again, but that's okay. We're going to sue the balls off of her, too. I don't know. Maybe she has them. I don't know. All right, another dot that we're going to connect here. There's a lot to drop in just an hour, so we're going to go into SEED. You know, we mentioned this project called SEED, Seeking Educational Equity and Diversity. Here we go. We're going to share this portion of the screen now. This is SEED. Go back. Seeking Educational Equity and Diversity. And I'm now going to pop that on the screen so you see it. Here is SEED. And we're going to read through this together. Learn more about SEED. New Leaders Week. The SEED project, Seeking Educational Equity and Diversity, partners with communities, organizations, and schools to train leaders who facilitate their peers in conversational communities to drive personal, organizational, and societal change towards social justice. Hey, social justice. Remember why I played that clip from Yuri Bezmenov, the KGB whistleblower, to say that Americans are going to get obsessed with social justice? They're going to pump that into the system in order to educate and indoctrinate one generation of students so that when they graduate school, run for office, and become your elected officials, you are stuck with them, and then they can destroy the United States of America from within. Remember when I played that on Wednesday? This was the reason why. Do you send your children to go to school to be social justice activists? I don't think so. But that is the goal of New York State's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Framework. It says it straight up. Prepare students for a lifetime of civic engagement and social justice activism. That is not the goal of education. You do not go to school to learn what to think. You go to school to learn how to critically think. But they're only teaching you how to critically think using one lens, and that is the lens of inherent, disgusting, vile racism known as critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and social emotional learning. Each year, we make changes to content that will be more impactful for the educators and facilitators we work with. We also examine the structure of our organization itself and constantly question whether SEED reflects the justice we want to see in the world. You see, the people behind SEED are looking to see if the changes they're making reflect the changes that they want. One more time, SEED. Whether SEED reflects the justice we want to see in the world. Them! Who the hell are they? To put together a system that they think is going to change the world without consulting with you. Wow. Here's my favorite. You ready for this one? White people standing up to anti-Asian racism during a pandemic. Because, apparently all the white people in the world are going to Asian Asian people and saying, hey, guys, thanks for starting a pandemic, you moron. Has anybody seen this anywhere of people going and blaming just normal? I blame the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I blame China. When you think about it, I blame China because that's where the virus came from. But it's not the Chinese people. It's the Chinese Communist Party. Okay. When you think about it, I blame China. I blame China, but I don't blame Asians. Asians are fantastic. Look, white people standing up. Did it go? Yes, it did. Okay. White people standing up to anti-Asian racism during a pandemic. After seeing multiple requests from Asian folks, this is like when they said, you got to change the name of the Cleveland Indians. It's racist. It was like 4 Indians who said something about it, and one of them was a fake Indian named Elizabeth Warren. After multiple requests. What did you get? 5 requests? After multiple requests from Asian folks and other folks of color to interrupt the fear, ignorance, and racism in the time of COVID-19, I feel called to reach out to my white community and ask us to do more. My humble offering comes from my perspective as a white woman working to end racism. I invite accountability from those targeted by racism to help us all reach a new, critical perspective in order to eliminate the pain and trauma racism causes and changes in our system for the better. Look at this woman. Isn't she a beauty? Yeah, she looks like somebody who wants to eat your kids, not teach your kids. Understand what is happening. Limit your consumption of the news and social media during a time of great anxiety and uncertainty makes good sense. Continue to do that. And when we do engage, we need to intentionally seek out information about the damage being done. So I encourage you to have an intentional plan for the types of stories that you seek and share. People magazine recently shared a story about the increase in violence against Asian people worldwide. CNN shared more racist incidents in the United States. NPR, look at this, People magazine, CNN, NPR. These are like the kings of the retractions. Everything these people put out, fiery but mostly peaceful protests. Remember CNN? So she's telling you, only look at left-wing sources to make your decision. Where is the diversity of thought? It does not exist. NPR shared the experiences of Asian and Asian American listeners. The Asian Pacific Policy and Planning Council and the Chinese for Affirmative Action created a website to collect the stories of verbal and physical racism experienced throughout the country. Find and share the stories of the upstand. This is the best sentence here. Find and share the stories of the upstanders and leaders, such as New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Now, time out. But even Black Lives Matter doesn't think that Bill de Blasio is an upstander and a leader. If this woman, who is contributing to this Project Seed, which is being used by Panorama Education to teach your staff and administrators about social emotional learning, if this woman's input is being trusted after she calls Bill de Blasio, the man who ran the greatest city in the world, into the ground, who polled at 0 when he ran for president, who is the only person who has ever been able to unify the left and the right because he sucks. The great unifier, Bill de Blasio, he sucks so bad. He's the only thing the left and right can come on and find common ground on is that Bill de Blasio sucks. And here's this lady calling him an upstander and a leader. As an anti-racist white woman, I am dedicated to taking more action and creating a larger, more active network of white people working in accountability to and solidarity with people of color. That's okay. That's okay. I'm all for that. Below are some actions that we can support each other in taking to create a more racially just world, countering those in our community who work to sow divisions and protect racism. Nobody is protecting racism. Nobody. And if you are protecting racism, get lost. If you are protecting racism, get lost. You are not welcome here. Work on your own racial consciousness. Look for resources like Courageous Conversations About Race. There's the Courageous Conversations thing again. And when we read the Smithtown foils next week, we'll go into what those were. Teach your children about the pandemic with a racially conscious frame, an anti-racist foundation. Right, because I think parents are going, that guy's Chinese, stay away from him, he's got the virus. No. There is no racial frame to talk about the pandemic. It's a virus. There's nothing racial about it. To say that it came from China is a fact. It originated in Wuhan. It either leaked from a lab or the conspiracy theorists went out there and believed that it came from bat soup, Campbell's chicken noodle soup possibilities. Intervene if you see racism taking place on social media or in public. Act with humility and integrity. Stand in accountability to and solidarity with the people being targeted. What if white people are being targeted? Are you allowed to come to their defense too? Someone should ask this beast of a woman that question. Check in on your Asian American and Asian immigrant friends and family. Listen to them. Help white people avoid the detour of focusing on tensions between groups of color. I thought we were supposed to talk about groups of color. Now she's telling you to stay away from groups of color because she's racist. She's a segregationist. Focus on the white community. Focus on the white community. What happened to critical race theory? What happened to being friends with people of color? Now, all of a sudden, if you're white, you have to focus on the white community and how it can stop its racism. Be clear about tensions between communities of color and how it benefits systemic racism and distract white people from our responsibility, which is ending racism in our community. Hold the media accountable. The same woman who's citing CNN is telling you to hold the media accountable. Remember to show yourself and others grace as we find the anti-racist path through this crisis. Humbly seek out and build deeper connections with one another as we focus on the community of all. Christine Saxman is a racial and social justice facilitator, most recently for Courageous Conversations About Race. She also works for SEED as part of its national staff. Find Christine on ChristineSaxman.com. Ladies and gentlemen, go to ChristineSaxman.com and email her and be nice, be civil, but let her know her games are over. Dear Ms. Saxman, sorry for assuming your gender, although she said she was an anti-racist white woman. I believe you've got it all wrong about racism. I believe you are the racist that you mean to weed out. The game is over. The game is over. This is only the beginning, folks. This is only the beginning. Racist Robbie is still talking about slavery as if any of us in the chat ever owned a slave. As if any of us in the chat think that slavery is okay. Racist Robbie is dwelling on slavery because Racist Robbie is a racist. Racist Robbie cites Martin Luther King, but Racist Robbie doesn't listen to Martin Luther King when Martin Luther King says content of character, not color of skin, because that doesn't fix. And that doesn't fit Racist Robbie's narrative. And Racist Robbie is my biggest fan. I'm going to send him free merchandise because I know secretly in the closet there's a loud majority flag hanging, and he pledges allegiance to it every day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Attorney General of the United States has told the FBI to look into the behavior of parents at school board meetings. He is clearly conflicted. So, Attorney General Garland, your game is over. We are only scratching the surface here. There's a lot more information that I want to share with you. And I'm going to continue to share information with you in the coming days, in the coming streams, and we're going to drop some information online, and it's probably going to continue to happen until we get banned. But when we heard about Panorama Education and the selling of surveys and the harvesting of data and the training of teachers across the country, did anybody think that we would be able to, a week later, find out that it's happening right here in your backyard? When Elaine Gross and Tracy Edwards are teaching and training at Eastern Suffolk BOCES for $10,000 for one training course that came out of the Smithtown Foils about white privilege. Did you realize that that was right there an extension of Panorama Education? The only people who are causing problems at school board meetings are people like racist Robbie Ray. And man, does that have a good ring to it. Ladies and gentlemen, when you address him as racist Robbie. It'll drive him nuts. Attorney General Merrick Garland, your game is over. Alexander Tanner, your game is over. Elaine Gross, Tracy Edwards, your games are over. I'm going to make sure of it. I'm going to put a target on my back. We're going to start with the notes on the windshield again. We're going to start visiting work again. We're going to start the slander and the propaganda that you're going to spread about me again. I'm ready for it. Because I am not going to stop until this has been, in and of itself, derailed. I'm going to be your worst nightmare, and the people of Long Island are going to be there as well, and they are not going to be violent, and they are not going to be unruly, and they are not going to put anybody in any physical danger. But make no mistake, your finances, this scheme, this indoctrination, it is going to end. It's in our backyard, folks. Panorama Education is training your teachers to brainwash the children. You saw off of that website, SEED, Seeking Educational Equity and Diversity, that they want their program to reflect, quote, the changes that we want in the world. Those are not changes that we want to see. Those changes include more bare shelves. Those changes include poverty like you've seen in Cuba and Venezuela. Those changes include racism that harken back to the era of Jim Crow. We roundly reject it. This is only the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It's in our backyard. I will see you guys tonight at 6:30 p.m. Patio Pizza for the Smithtown Library Trustee Victory Party. And I will see you tomorrow, 2015 Francis Lewis Boulevard, Whitestone, New York, for Vicky Palladino, 11 o'clock. And I will see you on Sunday at 8 a.m. in the Seaford train station parking lot. When we leave at 10 a.m. and we take Sunrise Highway all the way back to the end, just like last year. And those of you who are going to be starting at the Party City lot in Patchogue, I'll see you guys when we get to the end. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream today. I hope it was worth your while. I really think it was. We will continue to fight this together. The path to save the nation is through the school boards. But at this point, it's not even the nation. It's your children. They're innocent, and they don't deserve this. They don't deserve to be caught in the crossfire. They don't deserve to be targeted like this. They don't deserve to be preyed on like this, and we are going to stop it. Thank you guys so much. Please head over to loudmajorityus.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Take a look at the merch shop in there. We're going to have some really cool shirts on Saturday. In the face of racist education, in the face of overreaching government, in the face of an attorney general who has lost his mind, it is protecting his family instead of protecting justice. And in the face of the intentional destruction of the United States of America, we repeat these 4 words louder than ever. We repeat these 4 words louder than ever, over and over and over again, until the people in power, looking at you, Attorney General Garland, finally get it. We will not comply. Thank you guys so much for listening. Check it out. We will not comply.podbean.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Long Island Loud Majority, youtube.com/Long Island Loud Majority. Check us out on Twitter at LI Loud Majority, Instagram at Loud Majority, and Facebook.com, Long Island Loud Majority. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be touching base throughout the course of the weekend. See you guys for the Montauk run. Until then, until Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, stop complying and stay loud.